Hey, happy Saturday. It's Elaine. I have been teaching and coaching and brainstorming, and it's a busy time, and I'm grateful to be busy because it's a crazy time. Um, I'm saying prayers and sending prayers to everybody who's been affected, who's losing people. It was a rough week for a lot of us. I've had friends lose friends and family members, some of it to COVID and some of it to other random things. It just seems like there's a lot of shifting, a lot of things going on. And what I do when I don't know what to do is I work harder. I'm not saying that's always the best thing, but that's I try to be of service. So one of the things I started doing was talking about other amazing women from March was Women's Month, and when I got this time, I read it and I was shocked at how many amazing women whose stories I didn't know and who I had never heard of before. Now, I went to Texas public schools, and had a pretty crazy childhood, so maybe a lot of it I did hear, I just don't remember, but some of these are just so inspiring. So I have been doing a series of these. Obviously, I mean, everybody knows Eleanor Roosevelt, and she was amazing. Everybody knows Lucy. There's a lot of cool stories in here that are great, but I have been also wanting to share the lesser known people because their mark was important, and we need to know about everybody. And that's one of the things I love to teach and share with my students and clients. So I'm going to talk about two women. One woman, the first woman was China Machado, and she was Women of the Year in 1958 by Time. And her whole thing was she helped redefine beauty. Not everybody was meant to look like Barbie or the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, which was the message I interpreted when I was growing up in Dallas. Like, that was the ultimate Barbie doll look. And if you're short and curvy, it's really hard to pull off. I'm still working on that. But that's another one-woman show. Anyway, so China. Let me tell you about China. First of all, is that not the coolest name ever? China Machado. China Machado. It sounds like 007 or something. So she was modeling, but before she started modeling, she didn't think of herself as beautiful because she had never seen anybody who looked like her in the magazines or on TV. She was Portuguese, Chinese, and Indian. Those were her roots. So it's a pretty cool combo. And Richard Avedon, who was like one of the top photographers, he photographed her, and she became one of the first known women of color featured in a major US magazine, which is huge, especially in the 50s. And when Harper's Bazaar balked at Richard Avedon's pictures of her, he threatened to sever ties with the magazine. And that's how much he believed in her beauty and her unconventional looks. And I love it that he was standing up for her. And the final images of her, on the Harper's Bazaar really helped pave the way for other women of color and other people who were not traditionally, whatever people thought America was supposed to look like. So she was a pioneer. She became an editor at Harper's in 1962. Wow. And she signed with the IMG models at the age of 81, proving that a more inclusive view of beauty was not just possible, but necessary. So not only was she cutting edge, one of the first magazines in the US to be on the cover, not white, but then she was also an editor in 1962, which was very cutting edge. And to become a model again, or to model again and at the age of 81. That's just an amazing story. So that is China Machado's story, paving the way, helping to redefine beauty. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so then the other lady I wanted to share her story with, because I didn't know this one either, was Grace Hopper. And she was 1959's Time Women of the Year, Grace Hopper. She was a programming pioneer. So I love it that they have all these cool codes, like girl code classes, and there's always, it seems like there's this huge movement to help girls get into science and electronics and coding, and I just love that. Girl power, you know? So Grace graduated from Yale in 1934 with a mathematics PhD. And her service in the U.S. Army Reserve during World War II put her on the front lines of computer science in the 40s. In the 40s, can you imagine? It was like a brand new thing. By 1959, she had helped to create and popularize COBOL, COBOL, which is one of the first standardized computer languages in the world. 1959. And she was such a pioneer in programming, she helped shape the world of software as we know it today, and she paved the way for women everywhere to thrive in math, in computer science, and in service to their countries. In fact, in 2016, President Obama posthumously awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, saying, if right is flight and Edison is light, then Hopper is code. That's so cool. If right is flight, the Wright brothers, and Edison is light, then Hopper is code. That's a woman. I just love that. So here, hats off to Grace Hopper and China Machado for being cutting edge pioneers, ahead of their time, not letting the traditions of the time stomp on them. I just love that. And I just want to say one other thing. I was just talking with this fierce and beautiful woman who I have the privilege of coaching with on her video and stories. And we were talking about women in corporate. And we were talking about what it's like when you're one of the few women in the room or the only woman in the room. And I know I spent a lot of time being one of the few women in the comedy world. Sometimes at comedy clubs, you're the only one. When I worked in a steakhouse, I was around a lot of guys. In construction, rehabbing houses, you're around a lot of guys. And I love men. I'm not going to bash men for 1 second. But we were talking about what that's like to navigate those worlds and how sometimes in the past, the hardest people were not the men, but the other women. And, I'm on a mission to change that conversation. I know that it's already changing, and I feel like we have more to go. And I know I try to come from the place of there is enough. There is enough. There is abundance. There is enough love. There is enough. And it may not feel like that right now with what we're going through with the pandemic, but I believe in love. I believe in when we come from our highest self, we can achieve so much more than we ever thought possible. And I love it when other women are kind to other women and we help each other give a leg up. Hey, Brett. Hi, sweetheart. So I'm just talking about amazing women. And, for those of you who follow me, I do video coaching and story coaching and speaker coaching. And I'm also a stand-up comedian and love making people laugh, love working on jokes, love it, love it, love it. And one of the reasons I love Maria Bamford, that's Baumford, Bamford. She was in Arrested Development. She's had her own sitcoms. She's sort of like a comedian's comedian. Stephen Colbert loves her. She's very quirky. She does a lot of crazy, kooky characters. But one of the reasons I love her too is she's kind to other female comedians. And, you know, when I first started out, I I had some people who were nice to me and some not so nice experiences. It's part of life, right? Toughen up, Elaine. Anyway, I love Maria because she's kind to other female comedians, and she even like lists female comedians on her website, or she did. And if you haven't seen her work, check her out. She's really funny. She does these hilarious impressions of her mother as a passive aggressive Methodist in the Midwest, and not to be missed. So if you're just joining us, I'm talking about two amazing women. There was China Machado, who really changed the face of beauty in America. And then there was also Grace Hopper, who helped create code. She was one of the first computer scientists. I mean, she graduated in 1934 from Yale, and she was on the cutting edge of computer science. Like, I just think that's so cool. So I feel like one of my missions in life is to help share the stories that we need to know that we don't know, and to share especially about minorities and women. No offense to men, you guys are awesome too, but there's just so many other stories we need to know too to make up this beautiful, crazy world we're in. So thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. I'm doing my comedy hour this week, Monday night at 8 o'clock. If you want the link, let me know. And I'm going to be starting a Inspiring Stories Salon, so stay tuned for that. And I am still teaching about video and camera confidence and story crafting. So I do a lot of things right now. So just stay tuned, and I hope to see you on the screen soon. And I hope that we all get to hug each other really soon. Bye for now. Bye.